The grass shouldn't sound like this. It also shouldn't look like this, but John Thompson's ranch in West Feliciana Parish hasn't gotten rain in weeks. His family has been on this land for generations, and John is 66 years old. He says this summer is the worst he's seen.
The heat is so bad here, you just can't even do anything in the afternoons. Sunday afternoon, it was 107.6 degrees at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
The high heat is drying up the ponds on his property. The ones that remain can't hold oxygen because of the heat, killing these brim meant for John's grandchildren to fish. The cattle are still alive and hiding out in the woods nearby, but Thompson says they're just not growing.
They were sustaining themselves. I'm not saying they were gaining any weight. If it was a minimal amount. Most of the time, these calves will gain 2 pounds a day when they're on feed and good pasture, but I don't think they were gaining even 1 pound a day.
Thompson's been helping his neighbor in East Feliciana Parish. Spec Slaughter needed some help with a tank system as this big pond is also empty. He's selling off some calves in a couple of weeks and says he wished it could be sooner due to the cost of keeping them alive.
I'm not going to expand, probably going to have to sell some cows, cut back. And I contract my calves, and they supposed to go next week after next. I wish it was last week, but I had a date set. So.
Slaughter has some green grass that he fertilized, but without rain, it just doesn't take. He only cut half of this field to leave something for the cows.
What I've cut, I usually put up about 800 bales, and I got 300. I'm getting a bale to the acre where I usually get 3 or 4 bales. I'm 76, and I've seen it dry before, but not like it is now.
Most cattlemen are also grass farmers, but there's just not a lot to make hay. These 200 bales of silage are all Thompson has been able to make, and most of them were made in May.
And since May, the pastures just have not come back. We've got some hay to cut, but it's talking with all my friends that are ranchers that the hay production is just not what it ought to be. You're lucky if you get a bale to the acre.
It's a tough situation for tough cattlemen, many of whom are at what is normally retirement age. Thompson says he'll keep going because it's in his blood.
It's a perfect storm for a disaster in the cow market, and I mean in the cow business. It's too hard to work, for younger folks can go out and just draw a paycheck. If they cut you right here, you bleed dirt and cow. That's the way it is.
Normally, I'd be in about 2 feet of water here on this pond at John Thompson's place. However, this summer's drought has left nothing but this dry, cracked earth and the hope of not just a rain, but many days of it they'll need to get this place growing again. Reporting from West Feliciana Parish, I'm Neil Melancon.
Now, right now, the most important thing that you can do is report the severity of the drought to the U.S. Drought Monitor. That will be key for any future relief efforts. You can find a link to that on our website at twilatv.org.
And because this is such an important story, joining us now is Neil Melancon. Neil, wanted to get your perspective on this, and how are farmers and ranchers dealing with this mentally? Because this is an extreme stress on top of stress.
Yeah, it really is. And I think one interesting thing I found out at John Thompson's place was the movie The Maze Runner was shot at his place in 2012. And it's just funny because when I think of movies, like if I were to cast a cattleman, John Thompson would be that guy, tall, deep voice, but also I've known him for 20 years, very friendly guy, ready with a smile, ready with a joke. He's everyone's friend. I don't think he's ever met a stranger. In those 20 years, I've just never seen him this dispirited.
Yeah.
I was about to say he must be pretty optimistic, but not this week.
Yeah. He's just as he said, he's never seen it this bad in all of his lifetime.
And he's the chair of the Louisiana Beef Industry Council.
Yes.
It's not like he's not in a leadership position across the state.
Yeah.
For him to show this kind of vulnerability is important, I think, for other ranchers to see.
It really is important, and I think that, for everyone on top of reporting to the Drought Monitor, call your friends, call your neighbors, call your pastors, your therapists, whomever, and talk to them. Tell them about what's going on. Tell them about what you feel, because, the reason they're staying in business at 66 and 76 and 86 is because they love the stuff. It's not a job. It's not something they do for fun. It's their livelihood and lifestyle. And seeing it go up in flames like in Carl's package, or seeing it just wither and die like we see in mine, it's just a hard thing to bear, even for someone like me who isn't in the agriculture business.
And there are resources out there. The American Farm Bureau has the Farm State of Mind website. We also have mental health resources on lafarmbureau.org, so you can go there. We'll put links to go with these stories.
Yeah, and it's really important to, to reach out there. And if you're not in the cattle business, not in the agriculture business, just appreciate where all of this comes from. Because like you talked about, and it's a perfect storm that's coming, one of which we're all going to feel next year when we try and buy beef prices, because we have nationally historically low cattle inventory. We have high prices. We have these farmers who are at retirement age, if not older, and we have historically high cattle prices. All of these things are coming together to mean that cattle are just going in, and next year, when there aren't these cattle there to sell, prices are just going to go up.
All right, well, thank you very much for that perspective, Neil Melancon.